Hey up guys, in today's lesson I'm going to show you quite a big concept. Obviously I'm doing this live, so people will be rolling in and I'm going to say hello to them if I can, and it's great to see you in here if you are popping in again. Today's concept is a kind of a continuation of the washing line blues method that I did before. Morning everyone. Yes, so the washing line thing, what it was about really is essentially using the single string for creating fixed points, notes as fixed points or pegs. Another way of looking at it is not so much the washing line, it's using chords, using the chords that you play as kind of starting points and anchor points. But the first thing you've got to do is you've got to understand those chords. Now, I did a lesson a while ago, and it ties in, does this, to chord tone soloing. Yeah, so the idea behind this is that it will change how you play your normal box pattern things. The box patterns will kind of disappear a little bit if you use this. You will not be stuck in those box patterns. So this is why this one thing I think will change your guitar playing forever. This one thing, you know. So what I need to do is kind of preface this lesson with a bit of something else. Look at that t-shirt. Yeah, it's capo, not capo. I'm sorry, my American friends. Yeah, it's capo, capo di capo. Ask an Italian, right? So the thing is, yes, right. This chord here, this innocuous, simple E chord, yeah, has so much information there for you to be able to use it as a springboard. And this is the idea that I want you to do. And what I'll do is, like I say, I'll preface this with this idea that there are three chords out of the cage sequence that we need to take notice of in this kind of scenario. These are the three easiest ones. You can do it with the others as well. So remember, with caged, we've got C, A, G, E, and D chords. But the chords we're going to focus on today are the E, the A, and the D. Now, hopefully you're sat there with your guitar in your hand. And if you are, then what I want you to do is want to put your fingers on an E chord there. And a bit of background on this E chord. Everything that the chord needs is contained under your fingertips here. Yeah, so the thing is, good eye, right? So here, the whole chord already exists without any of the other open strings. Yes, without any of the other open strings. Everything that E chord needs is in the hand. Yeah, that's the root note, the third A up, and the fifth. The root, the third, and fifth of the chord are contained within that grip there. Yeah, and the curious thing that happens is that the fifth is at the top, the root is in the middle, and the third is at the bottom as we're going from north to south. So it goes fifth through third. I always call it 5R3. I think that's the easiest way to think about it, 5R3. Now, if you know anything about intervals, that's another lesson, then you'll know if you lower the third in this E chord, and this should be fairly easy to see because these are basic chord grips. If we take that fifth, root, and third, and we lower that first finger, we get a minor chord. So essentially what you do is you change the whole emotional characteristic of the chord. Yes, so if you think about it, major chord, happy, minor chord, sad. Okay, so you're tapping into the two binary emotions of what you are trying to express in your music. Yeah, so it's really, really key that you get that idea of how you're doing this. So what emotion are you trying to tap into? So we've got the fifth, the root, and the third. So I say to you, and I say this to my students in real life, you know, well, you are my in real life students because you're alive, that this is fifth, root, third. Yeah, and how many fingers are you holding on? How many fingers are you holding on? Type that number in the super chat there, guys. So how many fingers have you got on there? How many fingers do you use to hold that E chord? Let's see somebody type it in. As soon as somebody types that in, I'm going to move on. Yeah, somebody type it in. How many fingers am I using here? Yay! There we go. 3. So 3 fingers. Right, excellent. The next chord, and you're going to notice that I don't use a conventional grip for an A because I think this one is superior. I have a whole kind of shtick why. If you notice here, how many fingers am I using to hold down an A chord? Yeah, somebody type it in there. Yeah, how many fingers? How many fingers? How many fingers am I holding down the chord with? Somebody type it in, even if you typed it before. We'll get it. Nobody. All right. Well, you can see it's 3. Okay. Right. Okay. So we've got those 3 on there. And if I play a D chord, how many fingers am I using? 3. So the thing to get from this, oh, don't use, well, as long as you know that it's 3, do, because this is the thing, right? Look, so 3, and the order of the chord, of the notes in the chord, the intervals goes goes 5 R 3, fifth, root, third. I lower that third, it becomes minor. Okay. I play the A chord. I've got these 3 fingers on, going down from north to south. It goes fifth, root, third. Okay. If I lower the third, then I get my A minor shape. Does this make sense? So you're learning about chords here as well, because you have to understand chords. Yes, to use 1 for an A, but that was rock. Yes. So look at the D chord. 3 fingers going down from north to south. Fifth, root, third. Same thing applies. If I move that away to reveal the third, if I lower it down 1 fret, I get my D minor chord. So just by understanding that, then you can change the tonality of the chord. Major, minor, major, minor, major, minor. Now remember, just take notice of this word, what I'm just about to say now. That's an E shape. That becomes bar chords. It's a transposable shape. Yeah, so I take that shape, switch my fingers, move it up here. If you're lost, don't worry, because this is an aside for those who do know. Yeah, I've still got my E shape here. This is why the cage system is beautiful. Yeah, but don't get married to it because it's not the only thing. Yeah, so the thing is there with that shape, it's movable. Hang on, the A shape. Well, we can move the A shape. And as you know, the E and the A shapes make up the most of your bar chords. If you can play a 6-string bar chord and a 5-string bar chord, then you can access all this idea. If you know how this works, then you can move this idea around. So if I put that E shape there, major, lower the third, minor. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, rewind, watch it all again. Rewind, watch it all again until you get it, because it's super, super important. It's going to help you to understand intervals, which is, like I say, is another lesson. Now, here's the good stuff, right? If I play that E, it means because I know fifth, root, third, and I know where the root is, I have another point to start a scale. Yeah. So the thing is, this is an E. Yeah. So if I go fifth, root, third, then I'm not stuck with this open E string here, the 12th fret E, or, you know, the E, the 7th fret of the A string. Not stuck there. Because the thing is, the shape is going to show me where I can take the scale from. Yes. So that's the deal with this. So the shapes are going to guide you. Now, here's the thing. If you're playing the song and it's in G, yeah, You go fifth root, third root. There's the root. And if this is the first chord of the song, I know that is where my major scale comes from. It's going to come from that note there. So the chords are there to help you identify these starting points. You're using the chord intervals as anchor points to launch scale fragments. And when I mean fragments, I think fragments are really, really useful, because what you usually get is these big massive scale patterns like this. So it's going from the 3rd fret to the 9th fret, and it's like, yes, I've got to be macho and learn this scale and pain and power, and you got to do all that stuff. You don't need to, because the thing is, you're missing out on the smaller the idea is, the easier it is to actually use it. If you've got something like this, it's just horrible. I mean, how would you eat an elephant, hypothetically? You chop it up into small chunks, yeah? And everything that you learn, you should chop it up into small chunks, yeah? So the same thing's going to apply here. If I play this E here, that root note, right? If I know that that's an E major chord, I know that that could be chord 1, chord 4, or chord 5. So I can go play the major scale. So you could hear that there. You couldn't necessarily see it. Let me just point this down a little bit more. Yeah, so the thing is, that there acts as a starting point. Did you see I ran a washing line up from that point there? Then back to the root note again there. So I know that I can use those notes as pegs to hang other ideas off. Hope you see how much of a rabbit warren this idea actually is, yeah? But equally, I could play the E major scale there. Now, I could, if I want it to sound bluesy, carrying on with what I did yesterday, take that and to make that E chord sound more bluesy, you see, there is the root, the 3rd, the 4th, flat 5, 5th, compensate when you shift over from the G to the B string. Yeah, they've got the flat 7 and the root. Notice I'm only thinking in an octave. I'm going to just dig into that a little bit as well, because I think that's really, really important. How you think about these things is the big, massive, trammeling scale patterns that you think you have to learn. And like I said, the octave contains everything. The octave contains everything. So check out my video. I think that's the right way around. Check out my videos on the octave patterns. You need to know your octave patterns, and Caged is the way that shows you the octave patterns. If you take that octave pattern there, that's the root note, and that's the root note of any scale. Any scale. It's up to you what you put in it. If you think about it as a root note and the octave as being bookends, fancy ornate ones that keep your books in. Doesn't matter what books are in between the bookends. You can put whatever you want in there. This is the thing. Could be cookery books, could be gardening books, could be engineering books, could be guitar books, could be anything. And it's completely up to you what you put in that bookshelf. And the things that you put in the bookshelf are essentially the sounds that you dig. And that's it. So learn the patterns, but know how to reproduce them instead of just being stuck. There's E. Yeah. I've got that there. And I put that E on the end there. Right. So hopefully that idea makes sense there. But that's one chord. Yeah. So if I think to myself, okay, well, I've got an A here. Well, look at that middle note there. This is chord 4. I know that that's going to be a Lydian sound, but when I play the E, it sounds major. Yeah, don't worry too much about that. But the idea is, you take that note, wash in line it if you wish. You can wash in line it. And then the D chord. I know that is, E, A, D, D, yeah? I could play a major pattern off that. It's showing me where I can play these things. It's laying them out in a different way, completely different way than just playing box patterns all the way down. But here's the cool thing. This is where we start to be able to access voices. I talk about accessing voices all the time. That's an E-shaped E. Okay. Well, if I take this D shape here and move it up 2 frets, that's a D-shaped E. That's still an E major chord. The notes are contained in there. The 5th, root, and 3rd of E, an E, a G sharp, and B are in there. Yeah? It's just a different voice. Okay? Hopefully this isn't too much of a stretch for you guys. You get it. Yeah? And then look at this. I have an A-shaped T. I've got another starting point. I'm into another timbre. I can play it like that. I can see where these things happen. So the patterns, they stick. They're joined onto the chords, but we're using that root note. There are other ways we could use this as well, and this is what is exciting about it, and why I think it is absolutely a game changer in how you approach, putting a solo together, how you think about your lead guitar work. If you're putting a solo together, don't just play the bloody patterns. The licks. The licks are great. Yeah, they're cool, but they're cliches. I remember a student said they said, oh yeah, the cliches, but they work, don't they? And that's true, they do. The cliches work, the licks. But what you want to try and do is get the melody to guide you more than the licks. And that's what the scales are. The scales are the intervals that you need to express those melodies. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. I'll do a handout. Remember, so just kind of recap: 5R3, 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 5R flat 3, 5R flat 3 there, and 5R flat 3. You see, so you start to see that if it's you see, I've gone off on a tangent there. Look, minor. I'm just taking the core of the minor, the 5th root, flat 3rd. There's the chord. I mean, do you play up here? Do you? What about doing it on here? Right? 5th root, flat 3rd. Root. Yeah? It's a beautiful thing. I want you to explore it and let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. If this is your first time, consider hitting that subscribe button, hit the like, hit the notification bell, because I'm going live. I go live and I drop bombs like this. Guys, I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you for popping up in the super chat. Nice to see so many familiar YouTube names. And guys, I will see you next time for another lesson tomorrow. And we'll see what I come up with. I only thought of this in the shower this morning, so there you go. I thought I'd share it, but there you go. Yes. See you later. Take care. Stay safe.